This is not a drill. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you lot are doing well, and welcome to a breaking news video, and it is serious. Something that we've talked about a lot on this channel and it's been speculated. That's right, the Chelsea transfer ban has been lifted. After serving the initial one-window ban of Chelsea's two-window transfer ban, Chelsea now have the ability to make transfers from January moving forwards. The initial window in the summer, it wasn't too hard to swallow for Chelsea Football Club because they bought Christian Pulisic over the previous window and they secured the permanent signature of Mateo Kovacic. So really, it's almost like Chelsea signed two players in a transfer ban. The curse of the Chelsea transfer ban turned out to almost be a blessing. Certainly that's what the media were calling it when Frank Lampard came in to manage Chelsea and played loads of academy products with style. Chelsea have been playing direct attacking football, but even though things have been going incredibly well, and certainly Chelsea and Frank Lampard consider themselves ahead of schedule in terms of how well they're playing, Lampard has maintained that yes, given the opportunity, he would bolster this squad. After having a positive ruling from the Court of Arbitration of Sport from Chelsea's appeal, now, if they choose to, they can make transfers in the winter window. We're going to talk about what that means, players linked, and would it disrupt the harmony of the squad? Will Frank Lampard be silly to just go purchasing in January? Remember, it's a mental window to do purchases in. And generally what it means for the club moving forwards. Before we do get into all this content, a quick reminder to you guys to subscribe to Football Therapy and make sure you do hit that bell notifications icon to keep updated with Football Therapy's daily updates, videos, content. So, transfers. Hasn't really felt like it's been that long with Chelsea. Like I said before, Chelsea got Christian Pulisic arriving in the summer, and obviously the permanent signature of Kovacic, so it never really feels like Chelsea were really banned. Obviously, there was the notable exit of Eden Hazard, but Pulisic has somewhat filled that void, and obviously other players are stepping up like Mason Mount, and of course the goals have been coming from players like Tammy Abraham. Chelsea still have players like Antonio Rudiger coming back into the side, who is of course a very, very important player, but comfortably sitting in the top four and with their own destiny in their hands in terms of qualifying to the next round of the Champions League. Chelsea are in a pretty promising position. They of course are still in the FA Cup with a pretty favourable home tie against Nottingham Forest. So the Chelsea board should look at Chelsea's current position and see it less as the speculated transitional season as they would have assumed, and more of a season that should be seen with ambition. Enter transfers. Now obviously Chelsea have been linked with three spots on the pitch that they're looking to bolster and upgrade. The UEFA Champions League can only let you register 3 players moving into the knockout rounds, and obviously Chelsea would look to bolster their squad probably with their eyes set on the Champions League or going as deep as they can into the Champions League. There's no pressure on Chelsea, but obviously you make a lot more money and the season's seen as a much better success the deeper you go into Europe. But like I said in previous videos, Chelsea wouldn't need any more than 3 signings, and in fact 1 or 2 often is more than people usually do in January. If you've watched my previous news videos, you will know the 3 spots that Chelsea are rumoured to looking to upgrade are left back. Obviously Azpilicueta has been filling in at the moment because both Emerson and Alonso have not been top notch. Emerson started the season very, very well, but he's had a couple of poor games, and Alonso doesn't look like he fits the system at all, much like Olivier Giroud. So left back, Chelsea want players like Ben Chilwell, but you can't imagine them securing his signature in January. Chelsea will also look to get a striker to replace the imminent exit of Olivier Giroud, and they've been heavily linked with a wide attacker, most notably young Englishman Jadon Sancho. Now all these positions and players are great, fair enough, but can you really see Chelsea signing any of these players in January? It's very, very difficult. Obviously, to take a player away from their club mid-season is an incredibly hard thing to do, especially if they're good players and especially if they're doing something good in their clubs at the time. Look at Ben Chilwell. Why would he want to leave Leicester when they've maybe got a title challenge going on? Chilwell may well that rhymed, want to join Chelsea generally, and he might be like, yeah, I fancy that, but in the summer. And you'd forgive him for thinking that because things are going so well in his current campaign. Similarly with strikers around Europe, they might feel the same. Sure, you might be able to get a backup striker for Tammy, a sort of a mid-tier European striker, who's probably the first team striker for their team, but if Chelsea pay enough money and they have the ambition to come and play in London, that might work. What about players like Jadon Sancho? Well, apparently he's a one-to-way player from Dortmund. So maybe if he puts in a transfer request to Dortmund, says, "Can I go please?" and they get a silly amount of money from him, and the club are willing, then who knows, that might work. Although I'm not sure of the new rules about being cup tied in the Champions League, how that would affect Chelsea. Really, the targets and the names are still speculation at the moment, even though there's been a lot of news reports that Chelsea are actually quite confident in signing Jadon Sancho and the likes of different players. So it's an interesting one, and I want to move this conversation on a little bit to what that would mean for the current squad and squad harmony. Chelsea have just come off a 2-1 win against Aston Villa at home, and they're looking very, very good. Chelsea's problems don't look overly personnel related, they look coaching related. They look just development related. They look related to the fact how they're a new team and they're just going through teething issues. When Antonio Rudiger returns to the side, Frank Lampard has 4 very decent centre-backs to choose a partnership from. He's used Tomori, Christensen and Zuma a lot. Rudiger comes back in, he's widely regarded as Chelsea's most experienced, talented and best centre-back, the most vocal as well, who talks the most, which is important in the modern game. So probably Chelsea won't look to spend a lot of money in January on centre-back. Like I said, even if they want a left-back generally, at the moment, Cesar Azpilicueta moving over to left-back while Reece James plays right-back looks like it's a pretty good thing, even if Reece James needs to shore himself up a little bit defensively, but that will come. Sure, if Olivier Giroud goes in January, fine, get a striker, a backup striker. But how's Michy Batshuayi going to feel about that? Will he feel he's gone to third striker now with this new signing coming in? Really, you'd feel like a new striker signing coming in would be the type of player to keep Tammy Abraham on his toes and make him play to the best of his abilities. And if Tammy Abraham is injured like he was recently, Chelsea don't just fall apart like they did against West Ham. They have a striker that can really play to the level of Frank Lampard's requirements, and he can play in the style of Frank Lampard's requirements. So the narrative has been this transfer ban has been a blessing and not a curse for Chelsea, and that sort of narrative is maintained even now. Does Frank Lampard have a great eye for buying transfers? Sure, you can make the argument Petr Cech's in there to help and technically advise. He did very well to bring in Harry Wilson and Mason Mount into his Derby side and bringing Bogle through as a fullback, so you could say he's got an eye for a player in terms of bringing in the right people to play how he wants to play. But when the proper transfer market opens with the budget of Chelsea, and like I've said in aforementioned videos, Chelsea have a bit of buck saved up now to spend on players. Is Frank Lampard going to prove himself to be, well, equipped to do that? So they're the two main questions at the moment is, will Frank Lampard show he can bring in the right players, and will it disrupt this blessing, this squad harmony of a sort of youth-fueled Chelsea side? An example of a great coach who isn't necessarily good at buying players would be Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino is of course a superb coach and did wonderful things with Tottenham in terms of developing that squad that Mourinho's got now, bringing through players, making them better. But when he was given the chance to splash the cash, he bought some bad players, like handfuls. I'm not saying Frank Lampard is doing anything to indicate this could be an issue with him, but it's just something to speculate. The good thing about Lampard is he's integrated within Chelsea Football Club, and he will be seeking counsel from Petr Cech, probably to a degree from Marina Granovskaya in terms of the financials, but also Jody Morris and probably just anyone else around the club. So that's important. It's a risky thing, it's exciting. Remember, people were like joking around on Twitter and stuff saying, I hope this transfer ban never ends. I hope the ban doesn't get lifted in January. The fact is, Chelsea went in hard to get this ban lifted. Sure, they swallowed the first window knowing the Pulisic and Kovacic signings were coming, but really, they always maintained they did nothing wrong, and that's why they made the appeal. If they were truly happy with the squad as it was, then maybe they wouldn't have gone in so hard with this appeal. So maybe, just maybe, we can speculate that Chelsea Football Club have something up their sleeve, and it's not just having the ban lifted for a winter transfer window and then dipping into the market and maybe getting burned. Maybe, just maybe, you can speculate that Chelsea have a plan and have a player or two lined up that they've cleared with Chelsea coach Frank Lampard. Exciting times, eh? Who knows? Still, make sure you guys keep it locked to Football Therapy, and I will keep you updated with everything that happens as it happens. daily videos, man. Make sure you all swing by and make sure you are subscribed. I want to take this opportunity to remind you guys to subscribe to Yan Plays. I'll tell you in most videos, almost all of them, it's my sister channel for FIFA gaming and other games. It's super fun. I'm doing Foot Champions and Chelsea Career Mode. I'll put the link in the top of the description. Make sure you do go check it out because I always get down on the comments and listen to your guys' suggestions. It's loads of fun. Remember, you can follow me on social media as well at Football Yannick on both Twitter and Instagram. You guys enjoy the football, and I will see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I love me baby